far so good. Kò ní bàjẹ́ o. Let me see you. Oh, lo, let me see you. Bùgá o. Bùgá lélẹ́yìí. Mo kí gbogbo wa nílé lóko lẹ́yìn òdì. Mo kí wáyé pákó bó jẹ́jẹ́ ṣe rí èmi ọmọ yín náà ní olólùfẹ́ yín. Ayé ọpẹ́ yọ ṣe yọ lọ́dọ̀ títí o. Ṣé lọ́dọ̀ yín náà? Ní agbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Ayé ọpẹ́ a máa yọ fún wa lórí ọmọ, lórí ìdáwọ́lé wa. Òun ni ayé ọpẹ́. Òun ló máa fi máa yọ fún èmi àti yín. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ń lọ. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe máa ń sọ bẹ́yìn náà ṣe mọ̀, màá ní a máa débẹ̀ bọ ìgbà wo ni. Èmi ni mo sọ mi ò mọ̀. Àkókò wo ni mi ò mọ̀. Bọ́ mo mọ̀ pé a máa débẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ nǹkan tí brother wa yìí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ nǹkan tó sọ.
Ẹyẹ rí ntẹ́kù òrí ló jẹ́ kó forí afẹ́fẹ́ ṣe lé. Ẹja rí ntẹ́kù òrí ló jẹ́ kó fi inú bú sọ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀. Ẹni bá máa bọ́ máa dárí oorun gbélé. Olúwa rẹ̀ nílò láti gbọ́n nínú gbọ́n lẹ́yìn. Bó o bá ní ìpayà fún ohunkóhun ilé ayé yìí, mo fẹ́ kó o bẹ̀rù ọmọ èèyàn o. Ọmọ ènìyàn ní fìkà sínú pète ẹ̀rín. Àwọn labúrin tán tara kí ni. Afọ̀yàyà bobi mọ́lẹ̀. Wọ́n bóyin sí ọ láàárọ̀ sọ pé wọn ò lè fi yín ọ̀hún bù ọ jẹ lálẹ́ o. Àǹfààní tí ń bẹ lára èèyàn ò kéré lóòótọ́. Ṣùgbọ́n bí tí ń bẹ nínú wọn ló kọ sísọ. Bí mo bá rí ọ tí wọn ò bá búra mọ́ bó ṣe búra mọ́ mi. Ẹ̀rù èèyàn ló bà mí. Mo bẹ̀rù rẹ ni. Ó ṣeé ṣe fún ọ láti bẹ̀rù mi. Torí inú ara mi mo mọ̀. Ìwọ sì lè mọ̀ mí bí mo ṣe mọ ara mi. Àti délé ayé yìí náà ó tànà. Ewu tọ́mọ èèyàn ti ṣe fúnra wọn lójú irú wa yìí náà ó ti tó kọ̀wé ìtàn lé lórí. Kò rí kóòsù kan ò sí mọ́. Àfẹni orí bá yàn tí ọ. Ayé ti wá dojú kejì. Ẹni tá a yá lówó tó ń sáré ká lọ́dẹ orí. Ẹni à ń nù lọ́kà kó ba lè bọ́ lọ́wọ́ ebi ó ń dínà jẹ mọ́ni. Ẹni adásọ̀rọ̀ gan tó wá ń yaṣọ mọ́ni lára. Gbòsọ̀ dèmí tí ń gbàsọ̀ lọ́wọ́ oníṣọ̀ ọjọ́ ti pẹ́. Àìmọye ni wọlé mi dèmí tí ń gbàdúrà kó lóra rè ó nù ṣáájò. Bàbá wa ní kó o bẹ̀rù èèyàn. Kò túmọ̀ sí pa ní kó o fìyàn sípò Ọlọ́run. Bẹ̀rù ẹ̀mí ara rẹ ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Fìyàn sípò èèyàn. Torí bí èèyàn bá gbèsè ẹ̀ dé, kẹ́rù èèyàn má bàa bà ọ́ jù. Elédùmarè ó sọ.
Archiving every distortion. I am Ibrahim Traore, and today I'm pulling off your masks. Yes, you heard correctly. I, whom you call a young military junta leader, whom you brand as a dangerous radical, whom you serve up as an anti-Western dictator, am now telling you the truth. And this time you cannot turn off your microphones. This time you cannot turn away your cameras. This time your editors cannot cut this speech. Because the world you monopolize no longer exists. Because millions will hear these words now, without passing through your filters, without being subjected to your distortions, without being muddied by your lies. I am 34 years old. Every day of my life, I grew up with your lies. As a child, I would watch Africa on television. Always the same images. Children with flies, dry lands, weapons, death. This is Africa, they told us. This is what Africa is. And we believed it. We were ashamed of ourselves. We were ashamed of our own lands, of our own people. But then I grew up. I read, I researched, I questioned, and I understood that the Africa you showed us wasn't real. The story you told us was a lie. The fate you imposed on us was a script you had written. For years, how have you portrayed Africa? How have you shown it? How have you sold it to your viewers? As if we were creatures who had no share of humanity, as if we were savages left outside of civilization, as if we were wretches waiting for you to save us. Every day, every hour, every minute, the same story plays on your screens. Hunger, war, disease, corruption, terror, chaos. These are the words that come to mind when Africa is mentioned. In your Africa dictionary, there are no other words. No hope, no success, no development, no resistance, no honor, no pride, no victory. So I ask you, New York Times, Washington Post, Guardian, Le Monde, have you ever made Africa's successes your headlines? How many times have you written about Rwanda's technology miracle? How many times have you shown Ethiopia's reforestation project? How many times have you praised Botswana's democratic success? How many times have you described Kenya's entrepreneurial ecosystem? No, because these don't fit your scenario. Your Africa cannot be successful. It cannot, because then how will you legitimize your exploitation? If it's not in need of help, how will you intervene? If it's not backward, how will you look down on it? Have you ever asked yourselves, has any editor sitting at their desk, any news director in a meeting, any columnist at their keyboard ever thought, why are the people of the world's richest lands poor? Here are the numbers for you, real numbers. Africa owns 70% of the world's cobalt reserves. Your cell phone, your computer, your electric car won't work without cobalt. This cobalt cobalt comes from Congo, but Congolese can't afford cell phones. Africa owns 90% of the world's platinum reserves. Catalytic converters, electronic devices, medical implants, they all need platinum. This platinum comes from South Africa, but South Africans are crushed by unemployment. Africa provides 30% of the world's gold production. Mali, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Tanzania. Gold flows like rivers from our lands, but our people swim in poverty. Africa supplies 65% of the world's diamond production. Botswana, Angola, Congo, Sierra Leone, billions of dollars worth of diamonds are extracted, but our miners live on $1 a day. Africa owns 35% of the world's uranium reserves. Niger, Namibia, South Africa. Nuclear plants run on our uranium. Paris lights burn with our uranium, but our villages have no electricity. And you still ask, why is Africa poor? No, the right question is, how was Africa kept poor while being so rich? Here's your answer. Colonialism didn't end. It changed shape. You used to come and occupy our lands. Now you come and establish companies. You used to take by force. Now you make agreements. You used to rule with the whip. Now you rule with credit. Let me give you concrete examples. With numbers, names, dates, but you'll never write about these. Glencore, Swiss-based mining giant, extracting cobalt in Congo. 2022 revenue, $256 billion. Tax paid to Congo, $500 million. That's 0.2%. Is this justice? Rio Tinto, British-Australian mining giant, extracting bauxite in Guinea, 20 million tons annually. What's left for Guinea? Environmental pollution and cancer. Total, now Total Energies, French oil giant, extracting oil in Angola, Nigeria, Congo. 2022, profit, $36 billion investment in Africa, dirty pipelines, Anglo-American, founded in South Africa but now in London. Diamonds, platinum, iron, taking everything. What it left in South Africa? 6 million unemployed miners. And these are just the tip of the iceberg. What about the invisible, the secret deals, the offshore accounts, the transfer pricing tricks? Every year, $88 billion in illegal money flows out of Africa. Who writes about this? Every year, $45 billion in aid comes to Africa. Everyone writes about this, but no one says Africa is not the continent receiving aid, it's the continent giving aid. While you zoom your cameras on swollen bellies, there is a huge system working
So the hardest thing I've had to accept since I've been here is that Hausas, my tribe, my people, unfortunately are not going to allow Nigeria to become what it's meant to be. The mindset of the northern Nigerians are going to destroy this country. I'm sorry to say it. So this is an idea I had, right? It was very simple. Raise money, build orphanages, massive orphanages, and pick up the Almajiris off the street. Take the Almajiris off the street. Teach them engineering. Teach them tech. Teach them coding. Take them off the streets and teach them, try to get them up to par so they can compete. And I brought up how every time I had this conversation, I would bring up the 4 Indian kids, the 4 Indian boys, like 10-year-old boys that were online, they were doing the live chat and building an app. Every time I bring up this idea to a northerner, the first thing they ask is, well, what about Islam? What about Qur'ani? What about Islamic school? When I say I have met incredible resistance to the idea of taking these boys off the streets and getting them to join the global age. Like, my mindset is this. Every corner you go in northern Nigeria, there are 5 people willing to teach these boys Islamic school, Quran. There are 10 people willing to teach them everything they need to learn about Islam. Why isn't there anyone willing to teach them anything else? So when I brought that up, some people were like, I had people going, it will never happen unless I have to teach them Islamic curriculum in the schools. I said, you don't understand. Northern Nigerians are against the idea of changing the trajectory and the outcomes of Almajiris. They say Almajiranchi, which is what it is embedded in our culture. And here's the thing, no, it's not. And as a Muslim, it's haram. I fucking said it. Any northern Nigerian that wants to step the fuck up, do it. It is haram. Because you are not allowed to bring a child into this world that you cannot raise. And there are fuck ton of Hausa men and women who have babies with no intention of, they know they will only take care of that child for a certain age, then they'll pawn that child off. There are a fuck ton of imams, men in the north, who rely on these kids for a living. They send these boys out every day to go earn a living to come back and give them. I thought up an idea that, look, we need to find a way to raise money, build orphanages, teach these boys tech, teach them engineering, teach them robotics, let them compete with the global populace. And every time I bring this up, every fucking Hausa person I tell this shit to wants to argue with me. They say it's not going to. They are vehemently against this. So I need you to understand, I need to ask you, how will Nigeria as a fucking country compete with the likes of Ghana, South Africa, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, when the northern Nigeria is part of Nigeria? The most fucked up thing I'm going to have to say as a Hausa man is, for Nigeria to advance, they have to get rid of Hausa. They have to get the north Nigeria, it can never work. This is a sad, sad realization that it can never work. Like, this is insane. And I am Hausa. This is fucking crazy. Wait, let me show you something. Right here, this is attestation of citizenship from New York. As you can see, I am from Shanono local Gwamang in Kano State. I am as fucking northern Hausa as it fucking gets. I am as Aboki as it could possibly fucking get. And I am saying, Nigeria, to win, to compete on the global stage, Nigeria will have to get rid of the north. It will not happen with my people are actively holding this country back. It is so fucking insane.
Gbogbo wa pátápátá láti gbọ́ nǹkan tí brọ́dà wa yìí tó ń sọ. Ṣé bó ṣe rí nìyẹn tàbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ló ṣe rí? Ṣé bó ṣe rí nìyẹn tàbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ló ṣe rí? Àwa mọ̀ láti lẹ̀ wípé ìfàsẹ́yìn, ìdánidúró, ìdẹnilọ́nà, ìkánilọ́wọ́kò, òun ni àwa àti àwọn north. Ẹ̀yin náà ẹ wò ó tó jẹ́ wípé àwọn èèyàn bíi 100 and something tó ní kán tò báyìí, ẹ tò báyìí, ẹ line up, kó wá máa fún wọn lówó àti obìnrin àti foam. Foam as in mattress tó máa lò. Lẹ́yìn kíni, lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí wọ́n lọ tán lọ ka kéwú tán, gbogbo wa la rí fídíò yẹn níbi tán ti lo fìlà green, jẹ́ rántí tán ti dé fìlà green tán wọ white, táwọn obìnrin tán lo black. Almost every year ló ń ṣe. Ó yẹ wá sọ fún mi, kò ń ṣe wípé ó ń ṣe freedom iṣẹ́ o, kò ṣe pé ó ń ṣe freedom wípé okay o. Ẹ wá jẹ́ ká wo fídíò eléyìí. Kẹ wá wo nínú èyí tí mo sọ yìí àti fídíò yìí, ibo ni èpè tọ́ sí? Àwọn wo ló lè fún Nàìjíríà ní ọjọ́ iwájú? Kódà gan kan pín wa pàápàá gan tó lè fún ìlú oníkálukú ní ọjọ́ iwájú. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wá.
This is not China, not India, not Indonesia, Bangladesh, or Vietnam. This is Nigeria, Aba, in Abia State, where they have a human being as a governor. Bros, come. Now, let us have a little analysis. We have 774 local governments in Nigeria. Take, for example, each local government have this kind of factory in 5 locations. That is about 3,870 factories already. If each of these factories empowers 300 participants, we will have 1,161,000 people empowered already. Now check it. If we have this in 4 years of each term, you know what you are talking about? Nigeria will be exporting textile, already made textile, and that will have a drastic impact positively on the appreciation of our naira against the foreign currencies. You see, this thing no be rocket science. It's just that we don't have leaders who have our interests at heart. But we have one already from Abia State. Let others take cue from him. Ekuchanam.
mo rò pé a ti rí fídíò náà, mo rò pé ẹ rí. Ṣé ẹ gbọ́ nǹkan tí bọ̀bọ́ yẹn tó sọ ńbẹ̀? Irú ilé iṣẹ́ yìí tó bá pé 50 ní Nàìjíríà, nǹkan tí mo wọ̀ yìí á máa kọ síbẹ̀ wípé made in Nigeria, kò ní jẹ́ made in China, because most nǹkan tá à ń lò ní bíbá yìí náà ní Europe ní bíbá made in China ní 80% ẹ̀. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ járọ̀ mi, ẹ bá mi fi sínú comment section. Àwọn ó kàn jẹ́ wípé quality tó máa ń fún wa, quality tó máa ń fún wa nílùú òyìnbó ó yàtọ̀ sí quality tó máa ń fún wọn ní Áfíríkà, tó máa gbé lọ sí Áfíríkà ni. Tó bá ṣe irú t-shirt tí mo wọ̀ yìí nsìn, tó bá máa wo quality ẹ̀, o lè rí irú ẹ̀ gangan ní Nàìjíríà, the same thing tó máa rí ní Nàìjíríà. But tó bá wo quality ẹ̀ àti company wo náà tà á fún ní ìlú òyìnbó, bọ́ máa tún wá kọ made in China sínú ẹ̀. Kò yé yín sìn bí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn bó ṣe rí gangan nìyẹn, because quality ló máa tà sí bíbá, but made in China ni. Ìmí ó lè jẹ́ pé àwọn ìlú bòmíì náà, India or whatever bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn lọ́ ti ṣe, but àwọn wo náà gbéṣẹ́ yẹn fún wọn ni, ìlú wo ló gbéṣẹ́ yẹn fún wọn? Bó ṣe rí gangan nìyẹn. Ṣé rò wípé irú eléyìí tó bá ní irú ẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà, kó jẹ́ tí Nàìjíríà bá ní irú company yìí tó bá jẹ́ 100 kò burú jù, ká tiẹ̀ má wá pé 100, sorry, kó pé 1000 kò burú jù, ká tiẹ̀ wá sọ wípé 50. Nǹkan tó standard báyìí mélòó ló wà ní Ogun State? Ẹ jẹ́ bá mi fi sínú comment section. Ọ̀yọ́ State, Lagos State, mélòó ló wà ńbẹ̀? Now, láì má lọ jìnnà, eléyìí mo mọ̀ wípé àwọn 70s, as in àwọn tó ń ṣọmọ kékeré 70s, àwọn tó, mi ò ní sọ 80s, ní 70s yẹn ó ìrèyìn dáadáa ń gbà yẹn, àwa kéré, but kò ń ṣe nǹkan tá a lè sọ. Tó máa ń pe Aipe lace, Aipe lace, Aipe lace yẹn ó wọ patí, ó dẹ̀ ń tàbí nǹkan míì tó jẹ́ wípé láti everywhere, ẹ mọ̀ pé Aipe àti àwa Ìjẹ̀ Ìṣàgámù ọmọ ìyá kan náà, ọmọ bàbá kan náà jọ ni wá. Tó bá wà ní Aipe road, ní Burial Ground Aipe road ẹyọ kan náà ló wà ní Ṣàgámù, ní Burial Ground ńlá tó wà ńbẹ̀. Ní end Burial Ground yẹn tó bá ń pèrun ní Aipe, ìlú Aipe gangan, ṣé mọ̀ pé Aipe road náà pè bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, bọ̀ Aipe ti Ìṣàgámù nìyẹn, ti Rẹ́mọ, ti Ọ̀fin, òun ni mò ń sọ yìí. Bọ̀ Aipe ìlú gangan tó bá ń pèrun ńbẹ̀, ìwọ tó wà ní Aipe road yẹn ti Ṣàgámù yẹn wá máa gbọ́ bá ṣe súnmọ́ra wa ni mò ń sọ. A kọ́ ilé wọnú ara wa ń sìn torí pé kò sí gbómọ, kò fẹ́ẹ̀ sí gbómọ gan ní Ìṣàgámù mọ́. A ti kọ́ ilé wọnú ara wa. Aipe lace yẹn dà, òun dà lọ́jọ́ títí òní, nowhere to be found.
Take a look at this video. This is one of the largest textile plants you will find in China today. And just watch what they produce. 90.99% of what they produce in this factory obviously ends up in Nigeria. And you will see the way these things are produced from scratch. Just watch and see the space. This is just like a section of the factory. You are going to see the other part of the factories, and what is happening in this place will shock you. Just watch. So after the production, this is the final line, this is the finishing line. Once it gets to this point, they seal them and arrange them before the forklifts will come pick them up, and then they compress and package for shipment, you will also see how these things are actually exported out of the country. And all those labels you always see on wrappers, this is exactly how they attach them to the wrappers. You see, right? Now, if you watch this place, you know that the machines they have here is way I don't know how to qualify this, but this is a typical textile plant, and this is what Nigeria used to have, several of it that was controlled by the government in the past. But today, none of them is functional, not even one. The Nigerian textile industry has collapsed, just like the Nigerian steel industry collapsed. And this is simply because of the nonchalant attitude we have shown to all these things. Look at how these things are exported. This is the packaging before they are further moved for shipment. Now you begin to imagine how many workers are employed in this factory and how much this factory generates. This is how they load them into containers and then they are exported. Let me just say 100% of everything produced here comes to Africa. All of them ends up in Western Africa, yeah, it should be Western Africa, because these are most of our own fabrics. And then here in our own country, we celebrate it. Ashebi, they've chosen wrapper, they've chosen Ankara, they've chosen. This is how they are produced. Some people even send designs of the kind of wrapper they want to use. They send them to these places and they produce them with their designs for them from here. And this is exactly how our jobs are exported. This particular wrapper, I know this particular design very well. This has been in the Stallion. It has been there for many years. What is the big deal in, like, our cotton industry has even collapsed? In the past, the colonial masters built a rail line connecting Katsina to Lagos, or as it a road connecting Katsina to Lagos was typically for the export of cotton. Cotton today, does Nigeria still produce cottons? No. The little we produce, we sell them off as raw materials. We are never trained to utilize our own raw materials within our country. If you hear tomorrow that China is becoming the world power, this is exactly what it means. Productivity, industrialization. The Nigerian government, the Nigerian individuals have to invest in this. Look at the amount of money we ship out of this country to all these countries. This is how we are giving jobs to these people. And these jobs could actually benefit us locally here. I pray and hope that people get to just know the importance of investing in Nigeria than bringing continuous importation of finished goods into this country.
Oma help, but kàkà irú ayé pé yẹn, irú company ayé pé yẹn ń sìn yín, I'm pretty sure wípé company yẹn church ló máa lò ń sìn ọkọ máa ṣàṣàlátù ń bẹ. Church ló máa lò tó máa ṣàṣàlátù ń bẹ. Ìlú tó jẹ́ wípé wọ́n máa ti company, wọ́n máa ti factory tó máa sọ di ibi tó ti ń ṣe prayer. Tó yẹ kán ti church kan sọ di ilé iṣẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn lè máa gbé Ọlọ́run tóbi wípé àdẹ̀rí ilé iṣẹ́, kó ní kálukú lè máa ṣàdúà nínú ilé ẹ̀, kó lè fọkàn máa ṣe àdúà. Ẹ wá wo bá ṣe tẹpẹlẹ mọ́ àdúà. Ẹ wá wo bí tí ìgbésí ayé, ẹ wo bí tó dé lọ́jọ́ títí òní.
For there to be maximum turnaround in your life, the principle of seed time and harvest cannot be contested. The principle of seed time and harvest cannot be joked with. You see, beloved, when we talk about tithe, it's not a giving, it is a payment. You are paying your tithe. You are not giving an offering. Giving an offering is different from paying a tithe. Your tithe is an obligation. Your offering is a willing amount. Your tithe is 10% of what God has given you. You do a work, you make a profit. That profit, before you spend 5 naira out of it, 10% of it belongs.
Ayé ẹ̀dẹ̀ máa bàjẹ́ ni. Kò ní tafu àtọ́kù ẹ̀. Paul Eneshe àtiwọ́ kò ní dáfẹ́ méjì olórí burúkú. See the way they call tithe. We benefit of tithe. If they call that the tithe, they call that tithe. If they call that with power. Tithe. You pay your tithe. If they call that with power. And you olórí burúkú yìí. Now when you go benefit you people, now when you go benefit una dey preach. Una no go preach anything wey go add value to una members' life. Una no go preach all those one. Now wait, una just care about una self. Now to just dey collect. Now only the way una this is the way they call am. Because they use God. They use God, they deceive them. So that you know say when you put God, say they are giving to God, you know say they go pay. Meanwhile now they chop the money. See the way they call am. And we don't like that, we don't like opium. They call the way they call that tithe, they pay me, they tithe. You are giving to God tithe. You they call that tithe, they call it with power. They call tithe with power. You need that for you. Ole. Where?
Ẹ máa rí àwọn tí báàgì kan, ẹ máa rí àwọn kọfí kan tó máa sọ wípé gbà àtìgbà tó ti ń produce 1820 1714 ẹ máa rí àwọn years tó máa kọ síbẹ̀. Mélòó ló lè fọwọ́ sí ní Nàìjíríà lọ́jọ́ títí òní? Mélòó ló lè sọ wípé kíní yìí ó ti pé 5,000 years tó ti ń produce ẹ̀ tó sì wà títí di bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí? Ṣó wà? Ẹ bá ń fílẹ̀ nínú comment section. Torí ẹ̀, nǹkan tí arákùnrin yìí sọ, kò sí nǹkan tá fẹ́ kó sọnù nínú ẹ̀, but tí ó ṣeé ṣe. But lẹ́lẹ́kejì ó ṣeé ṣe. But ìgbà wo ni mi ò mọ̀, àkókò wo ni mi ò mọ̀, because báyìí kọ́ ni ó máa rí lọ. Báyìí kọ́ ni ó máa rí lọ. Gbogbo ìṣòro tí wọn ò bí wa mọ́. Gbogbo ìṣòro tí wọn kò dá mọ́ wa o. Lórúkọ Elédùmarè mo fọwọ́ sọ̀yà pé báyìí kọ́ ni ó máa rí lọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Mo kí wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé àkókò jẹ́ ọjọ́ ṣeré. Mo kí ẹ̀yin ìyá, mo kí ẹ̀yin bàbá, mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n, mo kí ẹ̀yin tí máa ń bá wa pín ètò wa. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tí máa ń fi comment sílẹ̀. Mo dẹ̀ kí ẹ̀yin tí máa ń bá wa tẹ like. God bless you. Ọlọ́run ò ní ṣe ẹ̀yin náà ní ẹ̀yin nìkan. Ibi báyìí la máa mú ètò wa sópin sí lọ́jọ́ títí òní. One love. Bye for now.
Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.